from Mentor My Board through the pillars of good governance, whether they are promoters, the CEOs, the CXOs, the women directors, who all play a very critical role inside the boardroom. Mentor My Board today is a brand known to the Finance Minister of India. We've launched various initiatives like the Boardroom Mastery Certification Program for the promoter directors, WOMB, that is Women on Management and Boards for the women directors, IDEAL, that is the Independent Directors Education and Learning Program for the independent directors. We believe in continuous learning, and that is how these programs help us serve better to the community. Our board Tattva series and coffee meets are well appreciated by the members of Mentor My Board. Blogs, videos, resources, tools are the key aspects of the platform of Mentor My Board, and do join in the momentum of good governance by logging into the platform at www.mentormyboard.com. In the pursuit of building better governed boards and with a community of 1 lakh directors, we strive to create opportunities for board aspirants. The platform acts as an enabler for us to drive these initiatives pan India. And hence, with this sole motive, we have come up with this Member Spotlight series, which focuses on the recognition, growth, and credibility of the members under Spotlight. Please join with me today to welcome the member of the day, Ranjeeta Sahoo. Welcome, Ranjita, to this Member Spotlight series.
Thank you, Neha. I'm looking forward to this session.
Very nice. So, Ranjita, let me have a short introduction of Ranjita for the viewers today. Ranjita has kind of 16 years of experience. She's currently holding a position of principal at the Abode School. She has previously held center head position at the Gondium International School and has been an independent director on board of a company as well. We are very happy to see you and welcome you again, Ranjita. And we would love to hear about you, your journey, in the educational field, and as well as your journey into the leadership roles.
So, Neha, my educational journey has begun with the decision of getting into the field of teaching. That's how I pursued my education. I did my graduation along with B.Ed from Regional Education Institute in Ajmer, and my first job was as a assistant teacher in a early years school. That was my first lot of students, the youngest one. And thereafter I had an opportunity to work with different organizations across different grade levels, moving on from a role of class teacher to homeroom teacher, from PYP, which is primary years program in IB, and to MYP. I was quite open with any role and responsibility that came my way. Additionally, I was doing event coordination in school, menu designing, anything that came my way. So I was quite open to it. And eventually, it led me to have a leadership role in Gaudium, where I took up the role of center head and looking into academics as well as administrative functions. And this knowledge and skills that acquired a collective experience of working with different set of mentors, colleagues, learning from students also, openness to seek out new opportunities, that has given a kind of exposure over these years of 16 years that has led my journey to my current role as the principal at Abode School.
That's amazing to hear from you. So, Ranjita, do let us know what inspired you to become an independent director, and then how did you balance this kind of role with your responsibilities as, a school principal?
Neha, I did not initially, know that this role exists of an independent director. Coming from a background, I would of that this there is a role like an independent director. We used to hear the word director as director of school, so those that
Right.
was my exposure. And however, I got to learn about this role when my husband was preparing for the IIC exam and during pandemic, and I was very curious to know about it. So one evening he shared this, we just over a cup of tea discussed, what is this role, and He shared some facts with me, as in the statistics, current statistics, where we have very less, a few women independent directors as of now, and there is a need of our as per the new Companies Act, and that was kind of inspiration, and he kind of motivated me to pursue the ISC exam and prepare for it. And during this course, he was constantly motivating me, and in fact connected me to his colleague, Miss Jayanti Taluri. She is a part of Mentor My Board, who
Yes.
shared about the WOM program. And as soon as I got to read about WOM program, and I spoke to you, I remember, Neha, the other day, I
Yes.
was very curious to know about the WOM program. That instantly, attracted me to the objective of the WOM program: creating women leaders, preparing them for boardroom. So that kind of inspired me this overall, and eventually I graduated successfully from home, as well as cleared my ISC exam. So that's
Yes.
how my journey began, as to pursue independent director as well. And now coming to balancing the role with the responsibilities as school principal, I'd say that requires time management and prioritization. And even for the coming roles, in because this is something which is an ongoing thing in being an independent director on any board, I what I would look into is to ensure that both roles align with my value system and they complement each other, allowing me to bring a fresh perspective to both position. That's how I
That
would
is
want to balance the role.
That is so true. Unless it aligns with you, your value system, your core values that you believe in, you cannot give that kind of justice to the role, and you do not set into the contribution mode then. So truly
Absolutely.
agree. And when you were mentioning about the data, yes, when the Companies Act in 2013 changed, it was 7% women representation on boards, which has now gradually increased to
Increased.
somewhere around 19.4 or 5%, but still a long way to go, because when we say that women contribute 50% of the Indian economy, so it's still a very long way to go. And I'm sure when we are creating this kind of ecosystem for everyone to come together, to handhold each other, to nurture each other, this percentage has to rise faster.
Absolutely. I can't agree more on this.
True. So, Ranjita, you just mentioned about the WOM program. So, since you are a certified member, or you are a certified WOM alumni, I would say, what are the initiatives or efforts that you are involved in the greater gender diversity and inclusion in leadership positions?
I proudly say that I'm part of WOM, a member of WOM. That has given me a lot of insight. And although that these are there as a value system, you're treating everybody equally, but when we come to professional world, the facts are different. So I actively seek out such opportunities where I can be contributing and I can get involved. So my first step was to connect with network of women where I can learn and collaborate with other women professionals from various fields to
True.
be part of any such initiative or discussions and to speak to others about the opportunities for aspiring women leaders. Whatever I have gotten the opportunity to spread the word. And I'm currently a member of the Indian Women Network Telangana. So any online, offline meeting, whichever I can fit into my schedule, I try to join them and try to connect with people. I remember, Neha, when we had the recent coffee meet at Hyderabad, this
Yes.
particular topic was also the focus during the panel discussion, and we had Divya Moma part of it, and other eminent personalities were there. I did bring along my colleagues as well, as in more people to join in and more people to create that awareness that there are opportunities out there. So what I would say is participating also in such forums or opportunities, availing such opportunities signifies one's advocacy for promoting gender equality, diversity. I am doing my part by participating as of now. But in my role as a principal, I what I would look into, and as we are expanding, our organization is expanding with new campuses coming up, new roles coming up. What I would look at as the skill set what person brings along with. irrespective of the gender, and that will
Very true.
talk of inclusion rather than a specific role curated only for a woman or for a man. Gone are those days. So this is an ongoing effort, I would say.
Very true, very true. So totally agree to what you're saying. Like, we do not curate roles based on gender. It is like what you bring to the table, your expertise that comes onto the table is what, the role person can take up. And that is where they can also, as we earlier spoke, contribute better to what they are doing. So, yes, agree. So, what are the unique perspectives or the skills that you bring to the school as a result of your experience as an independent director and as a womb program that you have undergone?
I would say leadership and governance. That is one perspective that I got, at how do we go about leadership and governance. When I was interacting with our expert mentors during the WOM program, that was really helpful. Meeting with each mentor to develop some key insights. So what I look at is to bring a holistic approach as a principal,
Hmm.
incorporating best practices while staying, true to the core value of education, and problem solving skills, finding innovative solutions to address any potential challenges. Like as an independent director, you would be required to come up with solution to if any challenges or any such situation arise, and having that bird's eye view. As an
Correct.
independent director, you as a principal or as a leader also, you need to have a bird's eye view, so that you can contribute and you can fix things the right time. So that's what I would say, a holistic approach on leadership and governance.
That's really true. And that bird's eye view, zoom in and zoom out to
Zoom
the
out.
same business, is very important when you have to take, the long runs for your organization. So yes, but as we are speaking about, a holistic approach and aspects of the bird's eye view, etc., what I wanted to understand is how competent you feel, women are today in this world, who come up with innovative solutions, or possibly, who are able to mitigate those kind of risks that they come across and they face. So how competent they are currently, or do you feel that,
We
they
have
need
we
more
have so
trainings, more
many examples. We have so many examples of women leaders out there who are doing fantastic work, who have turned around businesses, and who have brought a lot of success. We have a lot of success stories to hear, and of course, it's women have potential. That's why we have so many success stories around. It's just the change of mindset that is needed for people to understand for that there are leadership roles where women can contribute, because we have success stories. Whether it is look at Divya Momaya, and created a mission, and you're on a mission to create so many women leaders out there. So this is a success story, but I was part of it some time back, and now I've seen so many of my colleagues who have joined, so many new faces who have joined, and with the passage of time, we see that more and more women leaders are coming across. So yes, they are competent. Of course, they
thank
are
you so
competent.
much.
Being women,
Yeah.
that bringing that fresh perspective also is that angle, that depth from which a woman looks at a particular issue, a lot of value to it. That empathetic angle, I would say.
Yes. Perfect. So in your experience, what are the kind of the skills and the qualities that you believe are very important for independent directors, to be on the boards of companies?
But I would say strong communication and interpersonal skills, the ability to think strategically, and a commitment, very importantly, to ethical decision making. That is very important. And to provide that constructive feedback to the promoters, to the and additionally, very important corporate governance principles. And we may not belong to that industry, may not have that exposure initially when we are joining as an independent director, to do our own research work and gather a deep understanding cultivate a deep understanding of the industry they serve. So that is important. I would say in all this,
So
ethical
Ranjita,
decision
you
making is very important.
Hmm.
Yes.
So Ranjita, you mentioned that you were from an educational background, right? So you've been working in this educational industry since a long time, and you did not know about positions like independent directorship and how things or what is it that independent directors contribute, etc. So how is it you see this education industry transform over a period of years, and what is the kind of awareness that the people have currently now?
Education industry, how it has transformed with the terms of pedagogical approaches. The kind of pedagogical approaches, even as being part of IB schools for a very long part of my career, but I saw
Hmm.
that traditional teaching has changed and it has moved to modern teaching strategies where it is more child centric. There is holistic. It's not about teacher student in a lecture method. Is more of collaborative learning, giving that catering to their interest and passion. So a lot of changes have happened in pedagogy, in terms of pedagogy. A lot of research that has been done in this field that has brought about different pedagogical approaches. So I have seen that, like I remember, how when I was as a child, giving a particular exam or writing an essay, let's say, I would not get 10 on 10, or why I would get 5 on 10, I would not understand. Now, gone are those days where children are being involved in assessment. We discuss the criteria of the assessment with children. So these are the approaches which has come over years with research,
True.
with people reflection. So education has changed over years, and now the kind of subjects that we see in higher grades also, they were very limited professions. Now now career counseling has come. There's something, if you've heard of social emotional learning, the importance of social emotional learning has is more prevalent in education industry these days. So if you see, that is a lot of transformation that has happened in the approach, how we approach towards a style, how our approach at education has changed over the years.
Hmm. True. True. So when you mentioned that the research is very important, right? So research is such kind of an tool, we can say, in our hands, which is important in all aspects of corporate governance, which is important in education, in any industry that you're working, right?
Yes.
So how is it that you feel research would contribute to this corporate governance landscape that is going through, and the changes that we are seeing in the current startup ecosystems, the way companies come up, and the startups are coming, and they disappear so fast, or possibly there are challenges from the investors perspective, there are challenges from the governance so how is it that you look forward for these things?
Yeah, research is very much needed to first to understand the prevalent market challenges that are there, and learn from the case studies that are why something led to failure. It and understand what led to that, and from there derive is what not to do and what to be done. So research is very important. We've I think in our home program also, multiple case studies we were discussing as a team, and we all were sharing our perspective as to what might have led to a particular decision, or what might have led to a particular fallout of a startup, and what
Hmm.
might have led to what has contributed to the success of a particular startup. Not only that,
True.
so current research also market study, when aware of the potential challenges or threats that may come, which are not seen right now, but they is extremely important for people who are running business, independent directors, people are who are running the board as well.
Hmm, I agree. So, Ranjita, while you were mentioning, let us know what was the closest thing to your heart when you went through this boom program. Like, what is it that you enjoyed the most in this?
Everything, Ibra, that would be very difficult to point out, but everything I would say, I did look forward to our peer collaboration where we used to, whatever learning we had in our self paced learning module, we would come and share with you. Learn something which, when you are learning something, you may not look at something in a, and you may get a different perspective when you're discussing with your peer. So that collaborative learning was quite helpful. Discussing those case studies were on the weekend. That was very helpful, and one-on-one session with our mentors also. That was the highlight, I would say, because we did get that complete undivided attention of our mentors and on very crucial topics that I remember talking to Sridhar sir, and all those core topics that were there for us to choose from, and then we went ahead and had our one-on-one mentor discussion. So that was interesting, and the towards the end also we had to do a submission, right?
Yes, the
That
dissertation.
that required a lot of research for that particular case study, and submit our research work. So that was also very interesting and engaging. So I thoroughly enjoyed every aspect of it, I would say.
Superb, superb. And if I remember very clearly, you are the one who won that, the prize for dissertation as well, because you submitted the best dissertation in your batch. So, yes, I understand you being from that kind of, educational background and coming from such a huge research background yourself, you would be expert at it. So as an educational leader and an advocate for gender diversity, which we had spoken about, so what advice would you give to the aspiring women leaders both in the education sector and in the management roles or the board roles as well?
First thing foremost is to believe in yourself. No self doubt, because the moment we start to have a self doubt with being a woman, if I whether I'll be able to do it or not, that is the first roadblock or hindrance. So my advice would yourself and your abilities, be it an educational, leader in education industry or being in management board, having a trust on yourself, having a trust and belief in yourself, that is important. And secondly, if you have that aspiration, you need to pursue those opportunities. There are multiple opportunities out there for growth, pursuing different training programs and building network, meeting different people, having a strong support network system of mentors, colleagues, peers, family members who always guide you and uplift you. So that is very important, that we pursue the opportunities that are there. Until you don't go out and pursue those opportunities, then you will not be able to. So that exposure is needed. World is advancing at a very fast pace, and to keep yourself updated, keep yourself relevant, keep yourself updated with all the practices that are currently prevailing in the industry that you are in, it is important that you pursue out the opportunities. And we need to also have that belief that everybody is unique. So initially, honestly, Neha, I had a lot of reservation when I thought, being from an education industry, whether I would fit into this role. And this is something I will learn with experience.
I
This
remember
is
we
something.
spoke on it at length as well before you joined the womb program.
But if I would have not taken that first step of going for ISC exam, joining one program, meeting out people in the attending those coffee meet, networking, I would have not been where I am right now. And there's a long way to go, I would say. I'm still at the, I would say, the start line, but I've at least made my start, I would say. So this is important, that we understand that we all have something unique in us. So, be it any field that we are belonging to, we will be bringing in unique perspective and experiences that will be a valuable contribution to the leadership role. And most importantly, staying resilient, being persistent, and never underestimating your power of your voice. That is what is my advice to all the women, aspiring women leaders out there.
Wow, that is so nice. So, Ranjita, we also know that you were a board member and independent director on board of a company, and you've recently resigned. So, if you would want to share with us, obviously without mentioning the name, if you would go ahead and share your experience of what was your experience and what triggered that kind of a decision for you to resign from the company. We would love to hear that journey as well.
Sure, Neha. And I mean, during my tenure as a board director in the company, that was a very difficult decision to resign because for me, coming out as a home graduate, and that was the first thing I received, and that opportunity. So I was, as a budding director, I was looking forward to that experience. But what the reason that I resigned is they were not aligned with my role as an independent director. One of the main reason for my resignation is I was committed inside that I do not want to compromise on what is expected of me in this position. And although pursuing ISA exam, we have a literature to study and give the exam, but those discussions that we had in our home program, I was mentally prepared. Don't settle for something which is unethical, or don't settle for something which is not aligning with the corporate, not reflecting good corporate governance. So that was a clear no for me, that I do not want to compromise on that. So throughout my time on the board, I repeatedly highlighted the lack of transparency, which is very important. Transparency is extremely important in any company. Delayed
True.
communication and failure to communicate key information in right time, which is very crucial for important decision making process. So, despite bringing these observations to the attention of the board multiple times, I felt that the necessary improvements or suggestions that were made were not taken seriously, and that led me to
Hmm.
the decision to move on. So, it's what I would want to mention, that there were attempts to made to convince me to retract my resignation letter, or what was written in the resignation letter, but I did not want to change that because that's the fact. So I wanted to stick true to what I felt during the entire tenure. But every experience, whether positive or not, provides valuable lessons. So this experience was no exception. One of the key takeaways what I felt was, with this entire experience, there is a strong significant shift that is needed in mindset among promoters or at the board level, that women in independent director roles, they need to view them as equals, and rather than
Hmm.
them experiencing the gender disparity or not valuing their suggestion, they would actually, if they embrace the experience and expertise, organizations will do well. We'll bring in that whole
I'm sure.
perspective, a different perspective. So that was my takeaway from this experience. I will take it on a positive stride, and something to add on to my experience for my next role, whenever it comes.
I mean, very few people have that courage to speak on such sensitive issues and such experiences that they have gone through. But I'm sure you are very courageous, very ethical, and true to yourself that you could speak out from your heart and narrate to us the entire experience. Thank you so much for sharing this, Ranjita. It is really very important for people to understand when to set themselves apart from something that they are attached to. So maybe the first board position is something that you always aspire to be, and then if you have to detach yourself from it, it becomes really difficult for people to do so. But I'm so happy you did so. You took the right decision at the right time possibly, and you're open to communicate about it. So that shows a very important quality you as a person, Ranjita. And with this note, I would also want to understand what are your key mantras for success.
Mantra for success is, I would say, as a leader, practice empathy. When you're
Hmm.
empathetic, you connect with people well, and when you connect with
True.
people well, you take them along, and what you can achieve as a team better, that can't be achieved alone. So that is one. And my principle is never settle for mediocrity, because the moment we
Hmm.
settle for mediocrity is when you compromise the quality. And this would,
True.
when you tell yourself that I'm not going to settle for mediocrity, is when you would commit yourself to excellence, and hence adopt best
Hmm.
practices, be whatever. That's the mantra of success. Don't settle for mediocrity. I would say
Amazing
that.
insights, Ranjita. Super loved having a very deep interaction with you, and we are so happy that you are a part of this Boom alumni program. We wish you all the best for your future endeavors in life, and we would be happy to have you again back with us, in some another form, in some another interview series.
Thank you so much, and happy Namaste.
Yes. Namaste to you too.